Well, how you all doing out there this morning? It's good. The sun's out here in Carrickfergus today. It's fantastic. First time in about a week. It's great. Well, time's marching on with us. The years are moving forward. Somebody says, why are you always changing boats? Well, let me tell you about the boats. Jesus is the captain of every boat that we've ever got on. First of all, the boat to Donegal, and then the boat to Zimbabwe, and then the boat to start Zimbabwe Orphan Care, and the boat now for the teams. And of course, then I told you yesterday about the boat to go and preach in the US of A, where I'd never been before. So these were all challenges. Why change boats? Well, when God brings a challenge to me, I always try to rise to the challenge. I think I told you, my God can do immeasurably more than all I can ask or think or imagine, according to the power that is within me. So it's already in there. The power's there. God's just waiting. Let me go with his faith like a wee mustard seed. And we have always tried to stretch ourselves, getting out of the comfort zone that God had told us about. And we always wanted to go to regions beyond. That's why we went into the bush. My goal when I went to Africa was to get a big tent, 1,000-seater tent, and travel around, preach the gospel everywhere, and do children's services, and do ladies and men's meetings, and all sorts of things. And that never happened because of the situation in Zim. But I was always wanting to go to regions beyond. So the teams kept coming in. They kept rolling in. Steve Edwards would send them over. One year, Steve came for 8 weeks, and he had three teams coming. They would come for a couple of weeks, and then they would go, and then another couple of weeks, and then they would go, and then another couple of weeks, and then they would go. And we were just enjoying ourselves. Sometimes they came right off the plane. They were exhausted, 40-odd hours travel. And I said, let's go. And they said, go where? I said, we're going to school. Oh, we're all tired. I said, well, it doesn't matter. Let's go. And we took them to school, and they did the program. And eventually they got home. And then I had to tell them the rules, the white-black thing, the political thing. We don't want to talk about any of that. We're only here to preach the gospel. And we had some great rules. You had to eat everything that was on your plate. Whatever was put in front of you, you had to eat. If you didn't want it, say you didn't want it before it came along. And we had some great conversations. That's the first time I heard that someone could be lactose intolerant. I didn't know what that was, quite honestly. And I said, really? Never heard of that. And of course, there are no allergies in Africa. Nut allergies, unheard of. We got some weirdos coming out saying they don't eat steak, which was very strange to me, considering we had barbecues all the time. I said, well, here, we're going to break that stronghold and that curse over your life when you're going to eat a big T-bone steak on Sunday. And we had great fun with all these kids. They didn't know whether I was serious or not. And we just had fun singing on the bus. Learning some sort of songs, the kids learning, the young people learning. They're all teenagers, 16 plus. And we had teams of 8 people, teams of 12, 15, 20 people. We had one team came from Winters. There was an old lady about 72 years of age. Doesn't sound that old to me right now, who came along with the team. And then we had teams from Vegas, teams from Modesto, teams from Tracy, teams from Napa, California. And then we had started to have teams outside the Global Passions influence, with teams from Australia came along that built toilets, built fences for us. We had other teams from Ireland, of course, from CFC. A great friend of mine, Owen Sweeney, brought a team out. 2, 3 teams, outstanding people. And we just were building friendships, inviting people from England, from up there in Grimsby and Manchester, over in Wales. They come from all over the place, just to impact the boys and girls with the gospel, and also to have their lives impact. I would say there wasn't one person that came on those trips, and I mean there was literally hundreds and hundreds of people, that Zimbabwe did not affect them. We had pastors like Kelly Lowry from Bakersfield coming, great guy, great heart. He lost his heart. I was singing yesterday, I left my heart in San Francisco. He left his heart in Zimbabwe. Gary Garcia down Fountain Valley, what a guy. Fantastic heart for missions, bringing young people and setting them loose there. And they came many, many times. And it was just a blessing upon blessing upon blessing. It was fantastic. And in the latter years then we had Suze came with another team from Tracy, and she brought a lady with her, Jeanette, and her husband Joey, who came out later as well with their kids, became dear, some of the best friends we've ever had and still have. Jeanette and Joey over there in Tracy, they brought powdered milk. The country was in belly up. There was no milk. So they brought powdered milk, they brought sugar, they brought coffee, brought everything imaginable to keep them going. Of course, they had casefuls of candy, casefuls of little snacks for themselves, which I was able to go over and take from. And I mean, it was just, those were really red letter days. Many children come to Christ, lots of traveling, miles and miles, roadblocks all over the place. We never were pulled in. We never got into trouble because the Lord protected us. We were there to preach the gospel. The teams had only one goal, and that was to preach the gospel. So one day we went down, there was a wee school in the centre of town that we helped to run. We'd bring the street kids in off the streets. They would have a shower. We worked with the Presbyterian Church right in the centre of town for this. They would have a shower and change out of their street clothes into school clothes. And we had a team from Long Beach, California, who came down this day into the school. And they were singing and dancing and preaching the gospel, doing a program. The kids loved it. They would get one meal a day down there, and some teachers were employed. We paid for those along with the Presbyterian guys. And it was a great place of safety for the young people. And so one year we had a team that came in and they says, we want to buy sweaters for the kids. It's the winter. And they bought sweaters. 2 weeks later, we had another team come in. We were there again. Said, we want to buy trousers. They bought long pants. And then this other team from Long Beach came and we went down there. And they said, we want to buy them shoes. So we run about all over the place to get enough shoes, 57 pair of shoes, if I'm not mistaken. And we went there one day with the shoes and they said, we need soap and we need some cream and stuff like that. I said, why? I said, well, we want to wash the kids' feet. And I said, well, guys, some of these kids haven't been washed in years. And their feet haven't been washed in years. They run around bare feet. He says, no, we feel we want to wash their feet. I said, great. So down we go, we got some buckets of water. All these kids came out, and this team specifically from Long Beach, got on their knees and started to wash these children's feet. That we scrubbing brushes, brushing them off. Some of them were calloused. They had this lotion that they started after they washed them. It took them forever. Lotion on their legs, lotion on their feet. And then they get socks, and then they put these new tackies, new running shoes on these kids. And I mean, these kids were crying. The team was crying. I was crying. Didn't have a chance to do anything. They wanted to do it all. But there was 2 kids missing, and they came the next time we went down. Then I got a chance to do this. I'm telling you, it's very, very humbling. Washing the feet of a street kid. And of course, you preach the gospel, and people are getting saved. Our schools are continuing. The outreach in the orphanage is continuing. The teams are coming in. And then God, I'm over in the States there, preaching in the States, opportunity to go to churches now. Over in Tracy, church in Tracy, Assemblies of God Church, went and preached. They took an offering up. I said, what do you need? I said, we need a minibus of the teams that are going to come in. They took an offering up of $12,000. Said, there you go and buy your minibus, which we did. And it only comped out on us last year. It went for years, like near 15 years. It was a fantastic bus. And just the blessing of God was all over the thing. I preached in the States at a big conference. I preached on, we were born for days like this. We were born. And I got all the kids saying, thousands of kids saying, we were born for days like this. And even now, years later, when I go to churches, these adults come to me and they say, we remember you. We were born for days like this. And it's true. You're watching this here today. We were born for days like this. This is the day. You were born for today. You've only got today, no tomorrow. We need to get out and into the regions beyond and into the boat. So we met Joe. Joe said, want to help you? There was a lady worked for him called Edith. He said, Edith, bring $1,000 in, give it to Al here for the kids over in Zimbabwe. Great. Next year we went out again. He says, Edith, bring another load of money here. And he was very much wanting to help the poor children of Zimbabwe. So I preached in 2016. In 2007, I was again preached in San Diego and then in Sacramento. And there was a guy there called Dan Atchison, a friend of ours. He was from down Alabama, I think. And he was up preaching. And he shouldn't have been up. Let me just say that. He shouldn't have been there. But he was there and he went. I preached in the morning session. He preached in the afternoon, and I was sitting and listening to him, and he said 3 words that changed my life. He said, what disturbs you? And here I am in the middle of this crowd of thousands of young people, and God said to me, what disturbs you, Alan? I said, well, I'm disturbed because there's no electricity in Zimbabwe, there's no food in Zimbabwe, there's no money in Zimbabwe with inflation, there's no bread in Zimbabwe, there's no milk, there's nothing. That disturbs me. And God says, that does not disturb me. And God reminded me there in the midst of that crowd, something I'd read 6 weeks previously on the front page of the newspaper, that in the sewers of a part of the city called Kambazuma, they opened up the sewers which were blocked and they found the bodies of 25 little fetuses, little babies who had been born and thrown away. There's a lot of rape, a lot of incest, a lot of bad things going on in Zim. These kids had nothing and people were taking advantage of them. They're having babies, didn't know what to do, and many of them were thrown away. It's the same all over Africa. And when I read that, I says, God, this is terrible. I said, Dorothy, we've got to pray about this. We're praying and saying, God, you need to break in, you need to do something. And there in the midst of this, God said to me, that disturbs me, Alan Graham, these babies being thrown away. Why is God telling me that? Is there another boat on the horizon? Is there another work that God has laid up in front of us? But these throwaway babies, what do I know about throwaway babies? But then, what did I know about Priests in America? What did I know about starting Zimbabwe Orphan Care? What do I know about going to any orphanages? What do I know about anything? But my God, who can do immeasurably more than I can ask or think or imagine, has bigger plans ahead. Hallelujah. Can't wait to tell you those plans tomorrow. The Lord bless you. See you soon. Enjoy the day. Bye.